Hello, welcome back to the Football Terrier. Thank you very much as ever for tuning in. Smash that like button for us. Share this stream on your social media platforms. If you haven't subscribed yet, please make sure you do and turn on the bell notification button. Big game of football tonight. Chelsea versus Everton. A massive game for Chelsea. And a big game for Everton as well. Of course, we cover the top 6+1 here at the Terrace. And Chelsea put themselves into beyond the prime position. Chelsea will put themselves into such a commanding situation if they're able to pick up all 3 points tonight. We're just looking at the league table a few moments ago. We're going to preview that game tonight. We're going to take your calls, proper phone-in show. We've gone early than we normally do. We normally go live at 5, but of course, Chelsea kick off at 6. A win tonight for Chelsea puts them on to 50 points, just 3 behind Leicester, but it will give them such a nice cushion. It will give them a nice 4-point cushion from falling out. A little bit of an insurance policy for them moving forward. With Tottenham and West Ham breathing down their necks, it's absolutely huge. Big wins at the weekend for Leicester City and Manchester United as well. Currently, what they now? Sorry, my maths is terrible here. 7 points behind United and 6 points behind Leicester. They'll want to close that gap to keep the pressure on us. The top 4 race between now and the end of the season is going to be amazing. So we're here to preview that. We're here to take your calls on that as well. Aside from that, I want to speak Ole. Big win for him yesterday. No doubt about it. Huge, huge win. Massive moment for him and for Manchester United's season. What does this mean for his future? Big reports circulating today, big rumours and big noises in football that Man United are now prepared again to talk about a contract extension. So to take him on, take Ole beyond the end of the 2022 campaign. And the rumours are that it will be an extension of at least 2 years, meaning from this point moving forward, there will be 3 more years of Ole Gunnar Solskjaer at Manchester United Football Club. I want your response to that. I want to know what you think of that and what you feel about it in relation to that. Terry, is Ole in? Well, you'll know my stance on that, Mr. Clark or Mrs. Clark. And you know that the answer isn't, that isn't the case. It's not about being Ole in or Ole out. The irony in this new, him being looked at, being given a new deal, what really stands out to me is simple. It's a mistake. Because in my opinion, I think Ole's taken Man United as far as he can, and we might pick up a League Cup or an FA Cup. Is the football ever going to become better? No. Do I think that he has the ability to galvanise his squad and instill the mentality needed for us to win more clutch games? No. Do I think he is ever going to win us a league title? No. So it's not about being Ole in. My biggest issue is the decision-making of this football club. My biggest issue is what is this club actually going to do moving forward? That would be my big concern. Who comes in to replace Ole? Everybody's hell-bent on get Ole out, get Ole out, get Ole out. My view is, who the hell are we going to bring in to replace him? Will the club act with... we all need to show a bit of candor here and a bit of frankness and a bit of honesty. The board's fouled, really and truly, with all of its appointments so far. Some done better than others, and everyone's got a difference of opinion, but overtly we've fouled. I don't trust this board to get it right. I don't trust that this board won't bring in a manager that wants to get rid of 15 members of this squad, and it's a brand new overhaul all over again, and we just get back on the hamster wheel going around in circles. So it isn't about being Ole in, it isn't about being Ole out for me. It's what does a new deal for Solskjaer represent at this moment in time? We're not where we want to be as a football club. There are better managers and better opportunities out there. And you know what? Why aren't we planning for that? For me, we shouldn't be giving Ole a new deal. We shouldn't even be getting into these conversations until the middle of next season. We should be looking at who we want to replace him now. Regardless of how well he does, there should be a plan. Who are our number 1, number 2 targets to replace Ole now, in a year, in 2 years, 3 years? Who do we want? Let's say it's Nagelsmann for argument's sake. What are we doing about securing him? When is he going to be available to leave RB Leipzig? When would he look at a move like this? Go out there, have a contingency plan, do some due diligence. Get your ducks in a row so there's a plan of action. But there isn't. It's a scattergun approach. You ever seen old men who gamble a lot, that have no idea, have no methodology to their gambling? They kind of just go, the newspaper, they get a pen and go, I'm going to gamble on that one. That's what Man United do in picking a manager. We'll go with him. Why? Don't know. Like his name. I saw a game his team won last year. He was brilliant. The fans like him. Or I don't know, he won a social media poll. I don't know quite what it is, but I see that's the Man United approach. So for me, this Ole new deal, it's not something I can endorse. It's not something I'm excited about. It's not something I think is particularly good for Manchester United. That's my first thoughts and feelings on it. It really isn't a good thing for Man United at this time. Terry, will you apologize and say you were wrong about Ole? You're going to need to expand on that question. Apologize for what? And what was I wrong about? You need to let me know. You need to let me know what you mean in relation to that. Chelsea fans, I want to hear from you as well. Terry, is Ole out? So I've been called an Ole inner, now an Ole outer. I know he is. He's just scared to say it. But that isn't... When you say Ole outer, what do you even mean by that eye test? We're going to share the link for people to phone in soon. Again, I'm not an Ole outer or an Ole inner by the social media definition. Ole inners don't want to have a bad word said about him, and they believe that we're going to get back to the promised land with him. Ole outers want to give him zero credit for anything that he has done in the league in terms of the mobs I put these two weird groups of people into. For me, Ole's done some really good things. Ole's had some excellent successes here and there in terms of games and runs. I think the overall structure in the club has got a lot better. Training, quality of player, attitude of player has improved dramatically as well. People that want to be here. But it's now, can we move to that next stage? If you understand my fear of him being sacked or being moved on, it isn't so much about Ole leaving. It's them bringing in a new manager that's going to undo all that hard work. And the hard work, or whatever our philosophy or plan of action is, it's got to be bigger than any said group of fans' wants and demands and personal preferences. There needs to be an overarching game plan from this club. We don't have it. The problem is, for a lot of people, is they don't like looking at the bigger picture, or they don't have the capacity to be able to see what's needed to create the longer term success. It's all just buy him or sell him or sack her, and that's going to fix the problem. It really, really isn't. There's no doubt about that at all in my mind. Make sure you're smashing that like and that share button, people. Chelsea fans, want to hear from you as well today. Big night of football, 6 p.m. kickoff, Chelsea versus Everton, and it is huge. Everton are on a really good run of form, 3 wins on the bounce. Chelsea, of course, unbeaten, absolutely unbeaten since man like Thomas Tuchel arrived, but a lack of goals. You look at the last 3 games for Everton, they beat Liverpool 2-0, Southampton 1-0, they beat West Brom 1-0. So defensively, Everton have been very good of late. There's no doubt about that, especially against Liverpool. Chelsea, the same, defensively strong, but not scoring goals. Who's going to come out on top tonight? I want you to give us a call, preview that game with us live here at the Football Terrace. We're going to have KJ on the show very, very soon. Then we're going to open up the lines for you to come on and have your say. We're going to share the link on the Discord server. So if you're not part of our Discord, download the app now. Use the link in the description below to get that done. See what some more of you are saying in these comment sections here. A man like Mansour here says, I don't think he should be sacked, but I think he should go for the best interest of the club. And do you know what, Mansour? I actually agree with that. If we could bring in Nagelsmann, Ten Hag, those two are like high on my list of potential replacements. If we could get them this summer, and those managers don't want to change too much at the club, and of course we want better ball playing midfielders. We want that whether Ole stays or goes. What we shouldn't be looking to do is employ a manager who wants to change the world, who wants to change 80% of the squad, who wants to change who the first team players sit with during meal times, wants to change too much of the structure of the club that's been built again under Ole in the last few years. And it isn't about protecting Ole's legacy or any weird... I know what a lot of the Ole outers will claim is, stop being emotional. Sentiment FC. It's not about sentiment. It's about a plan of action. Have you ever worked in an organization where every 18 months they change the processes, they change the culture, they change what you're targeted for, who the leadership is, what's good and what bad looks like? You never gain stability and you never yield the right level of results. We need to create consistency at the football club. And of course, a new manager can come in and evolve the style of football on the field of play, but it has to be a natural evolution. You can't go from Ole to Nagelsmann to Simeone, back to Jose, back to Ole, back to a Nagelsmann. That chopping and changing is only going to destroy football players, and you're never going to progress. It's as simple and as straightforward as that. So I hear you. Man like KJ is with us on the stream now. KJ, how's it going, bro? Oh, sorry, I didn't see you eating.
Nah, it's all good, man. All good. All right, listen. We won. We won yesterday. A very good win as well. A surprising win. I'm happy. But like I said yesterday, I enjoyed it yesterday. Now we can get into the meat which is Manchester United. The rotten meat, which is Manchester United. That win was beautiful. Big up to Ole and the players. But this club going forward can't be hoping for those shock results, these shock runs to keep coming and hope that takes them to the top. It's not good enough. It is fair to say Ole has had enough time to show us what he can do. And in that time, he showed us that he is a top 4 manager. People, I know you guys are going to be like, what's Kedge on about? But with Manchester United, he's proven that he can be a top 4 manager. The issue with that is Man United want to be more than, well, United fans and United players, Ole himself wants to be more than a top 4 team and a top 4 club. So in that instance, Ole is not good enough to get over that line and need to get rid of him at the end of his contract. Not in the summer, at the end of his contract. At the end of his contract.
And you know what, mate? I actually, again, sorry, Nick, I've sent you the link, mate, for you to jump in, bro. So that's been sent to you. We're going to share it with the audience very, very soon. I agree with that notion, mate. And for me, the only time I would get rid of Ole this summer is if one of our legitimate replacements, a manager that we've been looking at now, maybe since Ole signed, around, say it's Nagelsmann. We've been looking at Nagelsmann, we've been focusing on Nagelsmann. We want Nagelsmann. If he's available this summer and we can get him now, then I would endorse letting Ole go and bringing him in, because what you don't want to do is see Nagelsmann go to a rival club, let's say Liverpool. I'm just throwing it out there as an example, and then that's it. You never get him. If we can't get our number 1 or number 2, we need to treat replacement managers now how we want the club to operate in the transfer market. A number 1 target is Jadon Sancho. Number 2 is a match. Bailey. Just say Bailey. Yeah, for example. If we can't get one, can we get the second? No. Then we wait till next summer, because we're not just going to fill the squad full of mediocre players. That's what Man United need to do with our managers. So I would support Ole staying another season if I had faith that at the end of it, we were going to bring the individual in that we want. But that's why I keep saying to people, if we give him a new deal, that worries me. That we're going to be stuck at a particular level for 2 or 3 years, and worse than that we might miss out on a bigger and better target moving forward. But again, people will be more angry that Ole's staying, and they won't be putting the angle towards the bigger picture.
It's the process. Are you going to bring Nick's in now?
Yeah, Nick's coming in now.
Okay, what's up, Nick's? What's up?
Yeah, let me just quick say, I got a meeting in a bit at work. See, for me, I don't have an issue with Solskjaer getting a new contract as Solskjaer as an individual. My issue is the reasons behind him getting a new contract. And the reasons behind him getting a new contract, if he does in the summer, will be he got top 4, which tells me that the expectation and what the board consider success is top 4. That's my biggest issue. And bringing in another manager who will maybe get top 4 with this team and maybe get it twice in a row, which no one's done since Fergie, they also get a new contract, which doesn't push and drive that manager and the players and the club as a whole to go and do more, as in go and win the major trophies, because the board are happy with top 4 as the target, really and truly, at all classes achievement. Does Solskjaer deserve a new contract? Again, I think I have to judge at the end of the season. If he wins a FA Cup and gets top 4, probably does, an extension at least by 1 or 2 years. But my issue is that they're talking about him getting a new contract based on the fact that we are in top 4, not based on the fact of can he win us a title. I don't think that's what they're basing it on. And additionally, him getting a new contract doesn't even tell me that they're backing him as a manager. What tells me they're backing him as a manager is going out in the summer, getting rid of the players he wants to get rid of and buying the players that he wants. That tells me whether they're backing him or not. Keeping him is the easy, safe option, but they will get rid of him whether he's got 2 years, 5 years, 10 years, if he misses out on top 4, because that's the only thing they care about. That's my biggest issue.
Yeah, it's the motivation of the club. it's very disgusting, really. Not because Ollie is the person that on contract to, but again, the reasons why. The reasons why it's just like you clearly are settling just for Champions League money and that's it. You can't be doing this. You know what I mean? And people say Ollie is lowering the standards. He's not. You know what I mean?
Ollie's doing the job. Ollie's doing the best he can.
All he's doing is living up to the standard that he's been set for him by his bosses, which is top four. That's all he's doing. So we need to, as fan base, we need to realize that Ollie, yes, he's an issue because he is limited. But the reason why he's still here is not because he's amazing. It's because these pagans up there don't care about the club.
They're content with being also rans.
If Ollie won the Europa League and or the FA Cup this season and achieved top four, you still don't give him a new contract. You wait again.
What I hear from a lot of people as well, though, is this: well, why doesn't Ollie walk? Because why doesn't Fergie walk away from the football club? I know he's unwell now, so he's not there, but Bobby Charlton didn't walk away. Sir Bobby Charlton didn't walk away during the last 15 years of his ownership, because what you need with bad owners is people fighting for you from the inside. I was part of the unions when I worked in banking, and union representation did not always get the workers exactly what the workers wanted, but they got you something. They essentially what unions do is, generally speaking, they create a compromise between what the employers originally offer and what the workers actually end up getting. And that's what you need from the Ollies of this world. Someone like Ollie, in my opinion, this is where I will give him credit, he knows that he's never going to be able to get the Glazers and the board to do everything needed to get us back to the top of the tree. But if Ollie, with a bit of Fergie influence and a bit of everybody else, can kind of massage their egos a little bit, keep it professional, keep it on a professional scale, and get 50, 60, 70% of what we need, maybe then we maintain top four football, Champions League football, and we maintain some level of standard. Because what would scare me more is going for a series of managers that continually called out our owners and stuff like this, because we've had this. We've after they've left the club, they can't call them out while they're. I'm actually in the process, and everyone's going to find out what I'm talking about soon, of signing a deal at the moment. One of the big elements of the contract was all about what I can and can't say about the organisation that I'm going to be working with, and it isn't just the financial penalties you face; it's the legal ramifications of you speaking out, and it's why Jose Mourinho and LVG had to wait a certain period of time before they can even talk about problems at the club. They are legally, civilly and legally and financially not allowed to do it. But even if you throw all that aside, all the real reasons aside, I would still rather have an Ollie or someone who's dedicated to the club fighting on the inside for us to improve what we've got. We may not get all we want, but there's going to be an improvement. But as you said,
but Terry, that's why I'm not saying you're doing this, but that's why I'm not pushing for him to even be replaced in the summer, even if we don't think he can take us to the promised land, because there's still so many holes that we still need to fix. And I think Ollie is best placed to fill the holes, even if he's not best placed to lay the whole grave and complete the task. Yeah. He's there to fill the holes. Getting in a Nagelsmann or someone else, I don't know if they're going to have the best interest of Manchester United at heart, dealing with the mess that is the board and the owners. I don't know.
Yeah, and another reason why I feel like the walking argument is a bit lazy. I don't want to call it stupid. I want to call it lazy. Is because say Ollie walks. Can Ollie pick the next manager? Can Ollie still communicate with the board to say which players that we need to get? Can Ollie make sure certain players still sign contracts if we need them to stay if he walks? The answer is no. Like, if Ollie walks, Woodward is still the guy in charge. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
He's still the one picking the next manager. It makes no sense. People act like if Ollie walks, that's it. The promised land. He'll come out, he'll condemn the Glazers, and then we'll all see what's going on. No, one, he's on the contract, so he won't be able to say anything anyway. Two, they'll be like, okay, cool, bye, Ollie. Who's the next manager we can get? Who's probably worse than you? Who's also, as you have to say about Ollie, happy to be here?
Well,
who is a puppet? It makes no sense.
Of course it doesn't. And aside from that as well, there's this sort of element of I'll endorse Ollie walking if you openly admit, as Ollie outers, if he stands up and walks and outs the Glazers, you'll never overtly blame another manager again. All your attention will go towards the Glazers. I don't think that Ollie Outers would be prepared to do that. So what is the point of him walking? Him walking should be the moment to say, actually, you shouldn't need Ollie to walk for you to know that the Glazers and the board are the biggest problem. And of course, people say, yeah, but Terry, the way we play football is nothing to do with the Glazers. And I agree. They don't train the players. They don't pick the teams. They don't instill all of the mentality into the dressing room. But if they're letting someone that you think is inept continue to manage the club, and they're now looking at giving him a new deal, that proves they're a problem. That in itself, is the proof they're a problem. We're going to go to some more calls. Sorry, Nix.
That's fine.
A comment here says, every City fan's dream is Ollie in. Give him 20 years. Owners just want the Derby trophy. Listen, in terms of derbies, Ollie's the king of derbies. He really is. I hear what you're saying with that. First caller
Sorry. Can I just think?
Indiana onto the panel, and we're going to throw a man like Eye Test in for his first call. What are you saying, Eye Test?
Yes, so I tweeted you this question yesterday. I don't think you saw it, so let me ask you right now.
Eye Test, Eye Test, what's wrong with your signal? It used to be so clear. Suddenly, it's all weird.
What? Can you not hear me?
No, I can hear you, but it's all crackly. There's something wrong with your microphone. Have you got earphones in or something? Something's not working right.
I don't know what's wrong.
Restart your modem.
But let me ask you this question, yeah? Do you think Pep Guardiola is backed at Manchester City?
Sorry, say that again. Yes. Do I think Pep Guardiola is backed? Yes.
Yeah. Okay. So when Pep Guardiola wanted Fred, when Pep Guardiola wanted Harry Maguire, when Pep Guardiola wanted Alexis Sanchez, yeah?
Yep.
Who got these players? Did he get these players?
That's flawed, Eye Test. That makes no sense.
Guys, wait, everyone. Okay, what's your point?
The Man United managers got these players, yeah?
Yeah.
So, the maximum Pep has spent on a player, I think, is 70 million, yeah? And I hear a lot of people saying, yeah, Ollie's not being backed because he didn't get Grealish, he didn't get Sancho, he didn't get this player, he didn't get that player. Listen, Dortmund wanted 120 million for Jadon Sancho. Yeah, if Guardiola went to his owners and said, "I want Jadon Sancho for 120 million," they will RKO him. They They don't spend that type of money on one player. Yeah.
Okay. So I test. It's really hard to hear you because you are crackly. I don't know what. You need to answer me a question. What device are you calling on? Sorry.
I'm on my phone.
Have you got earphones in?
No.
Bluetooth?
No.
Try earphones then, because when I tell you it's crackly, it's proper crackly. So it's kind of hard to hear you. That's all I'm saying. Look, bro, my view is very much this. I hear what you're saying, that we got those players. I mean, the Alexis Sanchez example is a madness because the signing of Alexis Sanchez is almost the epitome. It's maybe the key example as to how badly we're run as a football club, because Jose didn't want him. He didn't even want to play for Manchester United. We just the board, not Jose, the board offered him a colossal amount of money to sign for the football club. The Bastian Schweinsteiger deals of this world, as an example, LVG didn't want him. The Fred deal, Jose didn't want him either. The club decided, why don't we try and, this is one of Pep's targets, why don't we try and take him? Must be a good player. Pep wants him. Let's take him. Jose's like, I don't want Fred, though. I want this midfielder. He fits my system. He's the kind of player I want.
You wanted Milinkovic-Savic.
Yeah, there we go, Milinkovic-Savic. And then they said, no, you're having Fred or nobody. So I hear your point. Our board overpay for players. We got Harry Maguire for a lot of money. And you're right, we did overpay. But Ollie didn't overpay for him. The Glazers did. Do you know why the Glazers did? Because 12 months earlier, Jose Mourinho wanted Harry Maguire and he was available for £50 million. They told Jose Mourinho, no, we're not allowing you to have any more centre-backs. We bought you two and they haven't worked out. So when they bought the same player a year later, they spent £30 million extra on him. So if you look at the three players we've mentioned, we spent £50 million on Fred, a player that the manager at Man United didn't want. That's £50 million wasted. We wasted £30 million additional on Harry Maguire because we didn't sign a player for the club and we refused a player for the manager rather than signing for the club. And we spent over 350 grand a week for 18 months. It cost us tens of millions of pounds on Alexis Sanchez. Again, a player that the manager didn't want and who didn't actually want to come to the club until we offered him ridiculous money. So yes, Jose Mourinho, yes, Pep Guardiola is backed. Does it mean when you're backed, you get every single player you want? No, but the club will find you alternatives. If Pep Guardiola signed a player that hasn't worked out, i.e. a goalkeeper or a fullback, they allow him to go back into the market and buy somebody else. And if they don't get the target that the manager wants, one or two, look what they did with Diaz. They waited a year. They didn't just go and sign a different centre-back. They waited. Why? Because they're backing their manager. Filling your squad with inadequate football players isn't backing your manager. Yes, the newspapers will say, but you spent £250 million. If you've wasted £250 million, great. That's awful running of the club. You've got to understand, this isn't about protecting Ole. This is my issue is this. If we sacked Ole today, or we announced he was going at the end of the season, and Nagelsmann was coming in, and there was a clear plan, and it was we only need 2 or 3 more players to make the system click, I wouldn't be disheartened. My fear is that Ole goes, a new manager comes in, and it's a complete rebuild from the ground up again, and we're back to square one. And before that new manager builds what he saw as his his philosophy, his utopia, we pull the rug from under his feet as well. Now, people can disagree with me whether they want on that, all they want. They can disagree all they want. But one thing I have in my favor, everybody else is dealing in the hypotheticals of maybe the Glazers won't do it this time. And that's fine to have that opinion. What I have is cast iron facts. That 4 managers running, they've started a brand new rebuild and pulled the rug from under their feet 18 months to 2 years in. In David Moyes' case, it was less than that. After dropping £27 million on Fellaini when we could have got him for about 15 million 2 days earlier. After dropping 40 odd million pound on Juan Mata and never playing him in a number 10 role because that system didn't suffice. That's everything the Glazers have done. So for me, when it comes to me not backing the sacking of Ole, it isn't about Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. It's about the running and the planning of the football club. That's the bigger picture that everybody needs to look at here. That the same people that have messed up 1, 2, 3, 4 times, that have bought the wrong players, invested in the wrong players, denounced LVG and Jose Mourinho and said, no, we as bankers and financiers know more about football than you. These individuals are the ones picking the new manager. And you trust them? Fuck my boot.
Yeah.
Okay. So I realized you made a couple contradictions. You're contradicting yourself. Let me tell you why, yeah? First of all, you said Jose got a couple plays that he didn't want, such as Fred. Yeah? You also said that the team, the board, should make club signings. Yes. Not signings that the manager wants. So why are you complaining?
I test. So the reason they have to make the managers signings that the managers make is based on the problem we have at the football club. We don't have a club philosophy and a club plan. We let a manager come in and build in their own image. But we never let the manager finish that build in their own image. So it's okay if we pick Jose as a case in point. If you build a squad and a team fit for Jose's football, and at the end of his 3-year contract, he moves on for whatever reason, the next manager that comes in needs to pick up where Jose left off, who has a similar style, plays a similar brand of football, who can get the most out of the majority of that group. So there isn't a massive overhaul and rebuild and retraining and reprogramming of the players. So you are right in that sense that we should be signing players for the club, but we should be signing players that fit a club philosophy. We don't, because every 2 years, because of our lack of planning, there's a new footballing philosophy, style, and training methodology at the football club. So again, you're not looking at the big picture. You're looking at individual examples, and you're wrong.
I just want to say this.
Sorry, go on, KJ.
I just want to say this. I get it. You don't like Ole. You want him gone. I've got to the point where I do not care. I don't care. I do not care that you are so hell-bent on getting Ole sacked and Ole gone. We get it. My arguments have gone from being Ole in and Ole out. Again, I don't care about either. My thing will always be, look at the issue of why we're here in the first place. The man that people are screaming at, because he's saying he's been failing for 2.5 years, guess what? The people who employed him have been failing for 8. They've been failing for longer than him. And my thing is this. Yes, want Oli out, think it's crap, whatever, cool, and like I don't care. But if you cannot see the real root of the issue, the real root of the problems, then that's when I'll fight back. You're using the Glazers and Woodward's failures as a stick to beat Oli with. I'm not having it.
Okay, let me clarify.
I am not having it. I'm not having it. I don't care that you want Oli gone. Do not talk about his failures as a manager. Don't talk about the Glazers' failures.
Let me clarify what I'm trying to say.
No, bruv. No, bruv. Let
me clarify what I'm trying to say. Okay, I do agree. Maybe in terms of making club signings and having a philosophy and not buying just for specific manager might be the correct way. But I disagree that our managers get players that they don't want. I think our board, they tried their best to give our managers the players they want, and it's unfair to say a manager never wanted a player just because he flopped. Just because he flopped. I heard Jones.
No, they don't try their best. They don't try their best. I test. They do not try their best.
I test, and that's okay, right? But what I would say to you is this: this still goes back to the board, because we've signed far more players that have not made it at the club than delivered in the last 8 years. That's under 4 different managers. And if you put that down to the managers having full say and full control, that's still on the board, because the board have given 4 managers on the bounce. In your view, the managers have got full control, and the managers have signed players that they wanted. And that's fine. Let's just live in your world for a moment. The board have still failed. If I employ someone to come and do a job for me, whatever the job is, and I employ 4 people, one after the other, and all of them fail, my judgment has to be called into question. My running of my business has to be called into question, because I'm employing the wrong people. So it doesn't even. So you're right that the managers have definitely made mistakes within their own jobs, and nobody's denying that. Loads of mistakes. But to not then overtly look at the board as being the overarching problem is an absolute travesty. And it's like I've said, it's not about defending Oli. Get that out of your mind. We can there are better managers out there than Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. My view is the same as it has been for 4 or 5 years now. I don't think we're going to improve in the medium to long term. So wasting all the energy just on Oli. I think you live in a world. I think in your mind, the day Oli gets sacked, it's going to be like the end of Return of the Jedi, when everybody's having parties with the Ewoks and the whole universe is celebrating. For me, it's like, listen, that's a madness, because the darkness hasn't gone yet, bruv. Like we're gonna, and that's what we will go. Like, yeah, he's gone. Nagelsmann's in. Oh, we're back. I'm telling you, in 18 months' time, there's going to be people like you, Itis, phoning up this show saying Nagelsmann's this, he's that, he ain't ready, too early, flopped here, hasn't got the mismatch.
I'll tell you why they will succeed.
That's what I have.
I'll tell you why they will succeed. Because, like I said, I think their philosophy is to get the players the manager wants. That's why they beat City to Sanchez, Fred, Maguire. They get the best managers the manager wants, but the managers have failed in identifying the players they need for their system. And I think if we get a proper manager that will get the right players,
I test. Listen, I want to keep you on, but I really can't. Is it just me that's hearing him?
Yeah, no, I can hear it as well.
You need to sort out what your device, bro, because honestly, you sound like a computer talking. It's really hard to hear you. So I don't know whether your phone's broke its microphone, but try putting some earphones in with a mic, and it might sound a bit better, mate. Test. Thanks for phoning the show, mate.
I can't have it.
Look, I disagree with Test. I mean, he's entitled to his opinion.
It's foolishness, though, to believe that the Woodward and the Glazers tried their hardest, tried their best to get the players the managers want, when they've failed for 8 years to get the players that the manager wants. Like it doesn't make no sense.
There's a great super chat here that says, for the record, Test has switched from wanting Potts to Allegri to Nagelsmann. Even if you want Oli out, maybe you should have some kind of a plan. But this is the irony in that, is that's how our board operate. Nagelsmann would be a wicked replacement. What about Allegri? Those two managers are going to want completely different squads and types of players and types of personnel. It's about picking the manager that can get there's a few players in the Man United squad. Forget Phil Jones. Okay, put him aside. But you've got Matic and you've got Juan Mata at the end of their careers. There's a handful of players that we've got to move, that we have to move on. So maybe you can take a 23-man squad. You say, right, there's 20 players there, Allegri. How many of them, based on what you know of them, because one great thing about offering a job like Man United out to people is it's not like people are not going to have an idea who's in our squad. If Nagelsmann turns around and says, literally, I'd only really want to replace 2 or 3 of those players. Barring attitude testing training, 3 or 4 of those players technically I want out. But Allegri says, you've got to get rid of at least 12 of them. For me, I'm angling towards Nagelsmann. Why? Because I want to spend my time adding the final touches to your squad rather than spending the next 2 years overhauling a squad, taking longer to get. And that's the problem when you don't have a plan. Indiana's with us. Indiana, what you saying, bro?
I think United do have a plan. Their plan is to make money. So like the Sanchez signing was all about the number 7 shirt, sell some shirts, a commercial signing. They're not going to back any manager. It's never going to happen. Top 4 is the goal. This is what I keep saying to the Gems and the Davids in the group chat. The reason why Manchester United and Chelsea are different, and for me, Chelsea have underperformed a little bit, is because they want to win. Chelsea are built to win. Manchester United are built to get top 4, Champions League football, and make money. If you don't like the manager, remember who puts him in charge. A new contract means nothing at all. Like Nick said, it comes down to the window. If they're actually backing a manager, they'll go out and buy the players that you need. People don't like the system. Cool. Remember that players are bought for a manager for a system. We have players all the way back from Fergie and De Gea, 5 managers. It doesn't work. For me, it's not about whether Ole is a good enough manager, because there are better managers out there. It's about the club picking a manager, buying players for that manager's system, seeing a plan through. But we know the only plan is for them to get top 4 and to make money. There are no people on the board that they've got any football knowledge. They can't get the deals done, so then they overpay. Which I find actually in terms of business is weird, because you would think they'd want to be sustainable in the top 4 to keep that money coming in.
You would, but do you know what happens when you don't? It doesn't matter how you could be one of the best stockbrokers in the world. Doesn't mean you know how to run a restaurant. And I've watched enough Gordon Ramsay's Kitchen Nightmares when you see these successful business people that leave an industry and go, I'm going to start my own restaurant, and they run it into the ground, because certain skills in business are transferable. But when you don't have an understanding of the key fundamental, and by the way, I couldn't do transfer negotiations because I don't know enough about that level of. Most football fans think we know so much about football. Spend 2 weeks actually working in football and you'll realize, fuck, I don't know what I'm talking. I don't really know what I'm doing. There are people here that have more knowledge in their little fingertip than in my entire body, and it's a madness. And you're absolutely right. That's what it comes down to. So the new deal worries me, because it means we're not going to go out and get a better manager in the short term. But you are right. He could sign a new deal today and then lose the last 10 games, miss out on the top 4, and they sack him. That's how the managers, that's how they operate here. Go on, mate. Go on.
You know there's no plan from the moment when you hear he's going to get a new contract in December. Oh, February comes, he may not get a new contract. Beat Manchester City. Oh, new contract on the horizon. It just tells you all. It shows you all. These men don't know what they're doing. They have no plan. They have no way moving forward. As long as they get the P's coming in, that's all they care about. And as soon as Man United fans stop caring who the manager is, stop caring who he is. It could be your nan. Don't stop caring. As soon as you stop caring about who the manager is and start actually looking at who the real issues are, who the real problem is, then I feel like as a fan base, we'll be able to move forward together to make change. But for now, it's what it is. For now, people just want to focus on the manager.
You know, me and you've been talking a lot, haven't we, about the up and coming window. And this morning, I've already seen reports Cavani wants to go to America, back to South America, play for Boca Juniors, all this stuff. This is what I can see happening in the transfer window. This is how much I trust this board. Paul Pogba, new deal. We managed to keep Cavani, gave him an extension. These are crucial contracts that we've done for the club. Rather, because don't get it twisted. There'll be loads of reports about how Manchester United cannot spend. They can spend. It's Manchester United. If they want to go get a Haaland, they can go and get him if they wanted to. They could do that. They just won't. I can already see the window being spun. They'll say it's a marquee signing, which will probably be more of a commercial signing and actually down to football. They've got Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. But imagine somebody like a Klopp at Manchester United who wanted control. wanted some sort of say, like wanted more control. There's a reason why there isn't a director of football at Manchester United. There's a reason for it. The more people are shouting Ole out over socials, the club's watching the socials. Every club watches socials. The Glazers are rubbing their hands. There's no heat on them at all. But all the problems are down to the board.
Of course they are. I mean, we know it, absolutely. We're going to go to some more calls now, get some more people on to have their say. First up is going to be True Red Devil back on the terrace. What are you saying, mate? Nothing. So we're going to go to Julian. Julian's on next with us. Julian, welcome to the terrace. What do you want to say?
Hey guys, how's it going? These guys don't give two shits about our club. They're in £455 million worth of debt. The patterns are there as well. I think, Terry, you did an analysis a couple of months ago where you showed whenever we get top four and we get Champions League, the investment stops. When we don't, then they invest. And that's only guarding their own ambitions with regards to getting as much money out of this club as possible. They don't care. They care to a degree where if they are losing too much money, they'll make a change. But beyond that, they just don't seem to care. I mean, how long have we been lacking in the positions that we have been? And these guys don't go and buy the players that the managers need. They might buy a Falcao. They might go and buy a fucking, what's his name? My mind's gone blank. Yeah, the list goes on and on and on. They've wasted what, 200 million plus on players that we haven't been able to turn into successful players for our club, and that's got nothing to do with the coaches. They are the ones that are giving the green light for these transfers. And the problem being is that so many supporters, and I understand why, Ole hasn't exactly been the most amazing manager we've had. He has brought back some glory to Old Trafford, though. I mean, you see some of the stuff that he's done that hasn't been done since Sir Alex left the club. But the problem being is that there are too many short-sighted people. I mean, if you go and you build yourself a house, you're not going to, if your contracting team runs out of money, are you then going to break your house down and then rebuild from scratch with a new team? That doesn't make sense. So why would you do it at a football club where there are millions or billions of pounds at stake? It doesn't make sense.
You know what does make sense about it, though, is that every time a new manager comes in, the kind of wash, rinse, repeat scenario comes in, and it's great PR. I haven't looked at it for a while, but if you go back and look at the last, say, 7-8 years in the stock market, new manager comes in, share prices grow, starts going wrong, starts to dip, but never really dips below the peak of that manager being appointed. They sack the manager, a new guy gets appointed, bang, massive shot up, continues to grow, and then it starts to dip again. And then before it gets to a point where it's going to go lower than it was when they appointed manager, boom, boom, boom. They make money out of it. There's great PR in a new guy. Like Nagelsmann would almost be the wet dream here because they could sell it massively. They would show all types of clips about the beautiful football, what he's done in German football, which is great. And then they say this systems and everything, and everyone would fall in love with it. There'd be all these new terms
as well. His age as well.
Yeah, age, everything could be amazing, right? And Nagelsmann, by the way, I think he's just he's a potential football genius of a coach. We've got to see how that transpires over the years, but he's a potential genius. But then I look at my squad. So they could PR that to death and everyone falls in love. Everyone forgets about how bad we've been for the last 8 years because there's hope again. And hope, I've seen Shawshank Redemption and I agree with Morgan Freeman. Hope can be a killer. But when you first get the hope, like it fills you for life. But then you start looking at our squad, right? And you think, who are ball players that could play a Nagelsmann system? Maybe Henderson, but definitely not De Gea. So De Gea's got to go. I love Aaron Wan-Bissaka, but I don't know if he's...
He was class this weekend.
Yeah, but we need another right back when we want to be dominant on the ball.
Generally speaking, not good enough technically. You go into midfield, we have Pogba. Matic is too slow to play Nagelsmann's football. The energy in the way they pressed us in that first half of the game they beat us and knocked out Champions League, Matic ain't moving in that team, right? So Matic is out. McTominay and Fred, not good enough on the ball, both out. Suddenly, that's 3 new midfielders and a new fullback we need, and maybe a new goalie. So suddenly we need 5 new players for that system to work. You then start moving into the attacking regions. I think Greenwood, Rashford, Martial are all good enough. To be blunt, I think they're all good enough to play for Nagelsmann. So we're okay in that area. I think Ahmad might be good enough. But then you start to go through it. Dan James definitely isn't good enough. That's 6 players. You then start to go through the fringe. None of our fringe players are good enough. That's why I don't even get into Ollie's team as an example. Cavani's past his best, so you're going to have to look to replace him. So you suddenly start looking at it, going, well, that's 8, 9, 10 players we need. Now, Nagelsmann could get Man United playing very good football with lower standard players. But in the Premier League, that's never going to be enough to win the league. So suddenly, we've become Tottenham, where 4th place in good football is good enough for some people. And that isn't for me. For Nagelsmann to be truly successful by my Man United standards, you need to give him 7, 8 more players who are technically brilliant, but mentally brilliant winners at the same time, as an example, right? So, but you look at it and go, that means we need 5, 6, 7, 8 very good signings. How many years is that going to take this ball to land that many players? 2.5, 3 years by current standards, by current records. By then, the fans have already fallen out of love with this new plan and idea because it hasn't come into fruition, because in 18 months' time, we've still got Lindelof and Scott McTominay and Fred trying to ball the game. And it isn't going to work. It isn't going to work. And it's just, it doesn't work, and I just know what's going to happen, and that's the painful thing for me. Julian, great call, mate.
One last question, Terry. What do you guys actually think is going through Ollie's mind? Do you think that he is actually willing to stay on? I mean, contract renewal, yeah, cool, what have you. But
Ollie honestly believes he's the guy to turn it around. If you listen to the way he speaks, especially when he first came in and that towards the end of his interim. He was saying, I will be successful here, some players won't, we're going to build something here. Ollie genuinely believes that he is the guy to take us forward. So if they gave him a new contract, he will take it. He will take it. And to be fair, there's nothing wrong with that. I'd rather my manager believe that he's the guy, even if he's not good enough, than him being, oh, I don't deserve to be here. What kind of mentality is that? You know what I'm saying? So he genuinely believes that he's the guy to take us forward. And you know what? Fair play to him. If he is or not, that's not my concern. Well, it is my concern, but if or not, that's by the by. He believes he's the one, so I respect it. You have to respect it.
Yeah, I mean, we can keep him, but like Indiana said, he took the words out of my mouth earlier. We still how many? No director of football. We got Glazer we got Woodward making all these decisions. It's ridiculous. He knows finances. Cool, 100%. But he does not know football, and we're leaving him with the opportunity to make footballing decisions.
And what's going to happen is this: everyone's going to get their man Nagelsmann. Nagelsmann's like, right, what I need, and he'll need better players than he's got at RB to make Man United successful, because RB can get themselves to the latter stage of the Champions League. They're doing very well in the Bundesliga this year. They're doing very, very well. But there's 2 major differences. One, the Premier League's a harder league to do it in, first and foremost. Secondly, the standards we have is to play that well and win. Where at RB, if he plays that way, if he falls away between now and the end of the season and comes third, everyone at RB is still happy. If he gets to a Champions League semi and loses, everyone's happy. You're not going to be happy at Man United if we only have the players and overall structure to get to that point. You're all going to moan still. And for me, if we get to the same level stages as Ollie but lose, but we're just happy because the football's prettier, that for me,
we're in the same class.
It's the same
in the same thing.
Same tough with a different rapper for me. So you need better. But this is what will happen. It'll be, listen, Ed Boy, we need Joe Bloggs. Joe Bloggs has got the technical ability and the winning mentality needed. He's got the technical ability and the X factor needed to take us to that next level. Nah, we don't like him. Yeah, but I need him. Nah, listen, we're going to give you John Smith. John Smith ain't good enough. Listen, it's John Smith or no one. It's going to happen to him as well. Why do I believe it's going to happen to him? Because they've done it to every
history
other so far. So for everyone who says they might change, that's a hypothesis, pipe dream. That's you hoping. You know
what that is? That's like the girl who believes she can change the cheetah, fam. It ain't you, fam. It ain't you.
Yeah. You're not. It ain't changing. It isn't going to change. What I'm basing it on is history and the way people, the way somebody behaves, repeating themselves again and again and again. And I think it will happen. Julian, great call. Thanks for coming on, mate, and having your say. Remember, Chelsea fans, we want to hear from you. We are going to talk about your game that kicks off in just over an hour's time, to be fair. Next up on the show is going to be Tommy. Tommy, welcome back to the terrace. What are you saying?
You're right, boys. It's hard, man, isn't it, Man United? I don't think Ollie has done anything since he's come. Honestly, I've tried to be your way, innit? I've tried, man. I've tried to see if anything changed. but he hasn't. I think he's been, apart from Moyes, like the worst manager you've had since Fergie. Like, if you really look at it, if he don't win anything this season, like you've won games, but if you really look at it, trophies. If you look back in time and say he's winning football, but it ain't because he hasn't won anything. And also with the club, I think they've backed Ole more than any other manager. And I think they are a problem.
Tommy, I've got a question for you. How good?
Yeah, go on, mate.
How good do you think Jose Mourinho was for Manchester United?
I think he was past his best, really, if I'm being honest.
Okay, cool. So that's a manager past his best. We've currently got in your eyes the worst manager that we've ever had. Moyes was also not good enough, as you just said.
Yeah.
And what was your opinion on LVG at Manchester United?
He wasn't backed enough for me.
So and so there's one manager you can't afford. Yeah, okay, cool.
No, actually, who did he get in his 2 seasons? He's got Tobias and Angel Di Maria, even though Di Maria wasn't his signing, was it? So you got back to him first season.
Angel Di Maria was another player that didn't really want to.
He didn't want to join Man United, but he's here anyway.
Yeah, that's why I said obviously regarding that, which I don't agree with that. But with Ole, he hasn't. Yeah, go on, mate. Go on.
So you've listed all the issues with all our managers there. Yeah. It's got to a point now. You can't start thinking about the managers all the time. For me, it's now pointless. Listen, I agree with you in terms of Ole may not be good enough to win the Premier League. Fine. The fact that you say he's done nothing, questionable, but I'm not here to argue about. I'm not here to argue about. You know what I'm saying?
No. Yeah, but if you're thinking, so you think if a better ownership, do you think Ole will do bits? Do you think Ole?
I think with a better ownership, he would do better, and we would actually see if he's good enough.
No, but Tommy, I'll answer that question very simply. If we had better owners that have built better squads, we would be doing better because we'd have better players out there.
And also, Ole wouldn't even be here.
Exactly.
Ole wouldn't be here. Ole wouldn't even be here.
Better owners, we would never have appointed Ole in the first place because we wouldn't have needed a cultural rebuild. We wouldn't have needed somebody to steady the ship. So we are where we are, and this is another thing where we're 8 years into pure turmoil since Fergie. I feel like people are putting it all on Ole's neck. And to your point, if he does win if he won the FA Cup and the Europa League this year and did back-to-back years in the Champions League places, then he would be the best manager since Fergie left based on trophy haul and league. He won't. Maybe he won't, and it's a fine line.
Wait. No, but I know he won't. Not because it's because the way I see you play every week, the way you play is not just sustainable. And also, I want to say a thing about Martial. I hate the agenda against Martial. The reason he ain't scoring is because you ain't creating opportunities for him in the box. On average, Martial and your strikers have 3 touches in the box.
Did you not have a one-on-one against Man City?
That's not actually true though, because most of Martial's touches are with his back to goal. Also, creativity. You cannot rely on Bruno and a Rashford to create.
So, Tommy, just I haven't got the stat in front of me, but I checked it a few weeks ago. The only difference between this season and last season is the conversion rate of Anthony Martial. Anthony Martial has had actually 4 more shots this season in all competitions than he had last year. The difference is last season he had a 27% conversion rate. This season he's got a 12% conversion rate. So Anthony Martial's finishing is the reason that his goal ratio has dropped down so dramatically. Man United this season compared to last year created more chances, more big chances in game, and scored more goals. Saying there's a lack of creativity with the second
but come on, 1/3 in goals come in 2 games. Come on.
But then when you say we concede more goals, 1/3 of those came from against Spurs. So
yeah, but at the end of the day, with them stats, I don't really take note of stats. Like with Bruno, I think Bruno's a good player, but I don't think
hang on, Tommy, I love you, bro, because you call in a lot. You're a good guy, but you've just taken note of stats. And we only touched the ball in the box 3 times. This is the problem with people in stats. They love certain stats that prove them right, and then when it comes to a stat that dispels their myth, it's a problem. Listen, look, Martial's only issue this year. His progressive running off the ball is an issue, but that isn't a Martial issue. All of our strikers are like that. And the only reason
that's what I'm saying.
One second, mate. The only reason it's been highlighted this season is because Cavani's movement is amazing. That then makes people's poor movement protrude. Both Rashford's movement as a number 9 isn't good enough either. He doesn't think to do it. They're not him and Martial and Rashford are inside forwards. They're not number 9s. They're not those kind of central strikers. So for me, as we said last night, I want a better number 9. I want a younger, better number 9 at Man United than Martial and Cavani. But it doesn't mean I want Martial outdone, cold, put on the scrap heap. It's, again, the hyperbole with it is mad. Listen, bro, thanks for coming on, Tommy, and having your say. Really some super chats here. 215 million and 175 million in transfers for the first 2 years for LVG, equaling not backed financially. That's more than Ole has been given. Jose was about the same. This is true, but where I feel sorry for LVG and for Jose is that they weren't given players that they wanted. We hemorrhaged money. You know, LVG told the club, don't buy Bastian Schweinsteiger. Bayern Munich, don't let players go that they want to keep, that have contract time left, and we bought him. Another super chat here says, KG, I hear that self-belief point, but to back out and leave shows self-awareness, no? Look at the Gerrard at Liverpool and Xavi and Barcelona.
The big difference with that, my brother, is those guys were approached before they even had jobs. Before they're even in the job. Gerrard got approached by Liverpool, or they wanted him there, and he said, no, I'm not going to do that right now. I'm going to go off to experience. Xavi was out doing his coaching somewhere else, and they approached him, and he said, no, I'm not ready yet. Ollie's already in the job. So for him to leave makes no sense. If he wanted to show self-awareness, the only way I say he's showing self-awareness is if that he was able to pick the next manager. So he said, okay, I'm not good enough. I don't feel I'm good enough. I'm not ready. I've run my course and I haven't done well. But here's the manager who's going to come on behind me, who's better than me, blah, blah, blah. Cool, self-awareness. He's able to fix his own issues, but he can't do that. And also, let me read that again. That's so self-awareness. I forgot my other point I was going to make to that. But yeah, like, that was it. If he actually walked, that point you're making there about self-awareness, you might make that. But most Ollie outers demand him to walk would also call him weak for walking. It's one of those ones where him walking doesn't change the fact that people view him a certain way. They will use that against he will do what they want and then use that against him as a stick to beat him with saying, you're weak. You see, you're not even strong enough to try and get better, blah, 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 blah.
Aside from Ollie walking won't make the Glazers and Woodward change their approach. Only the fans can do that. Next on the show, we've got Alex, who's a Chelsea fan. Obviously, Chelsea playing. Is he getting dressed? Or is he doing something? He's putting his hoodie on. Alex, welcome back to the show. Right? Yes, bruv. You play Everton tonight. Really big game. Give me your thoughts.
Look, man. If Chelsea want to get to a 4, we need to win this game. Everton have a game in hand over Chelsea, and then it's important, you know. If we play our games tonight and we play against like we did at Liverpool with the same intensity, the same quality in the final third, we're gonna win this game. I think Chelsea, you know, I'm excited because I kind of want to see a kind of an Ancelotti versus Tuchel kind of battle. I think Ancelotti is a great manager, and I do. Yeah, it's gonna be an interesting game. I think it's Chelsea's game to win. I think Chelsea are gonna Everton can play a bit more safe because knowing that they have a game in hand. Yeah, man. Like I'm just excited. I'm not as nervous in a way. I'm kind of excited just to see how the result comes around, and I think I see us winning at the moment. The way I would put it is that I'm confident that Chelsea won't lose, but I'm not confident we're going to win. You know, I feel like we're as a team, we're playing quite well as a kind of solid basis, the way we're playing football, but our final third is not at the moment.
I hear you on it. Alex, a really good call, mate. Thank you for coming on, having your say, brother. When I look at Chelsea, it's like they're 3/4 of the way there. 3/4 of the way there. They're not being opened up. They're barely losing possession. They're dominating games. They just need that finishing touch. And when they get that, when that improves, it's going to be dangerous for everybody. I wouldn't write Everton off though, because Everton have been a legitimate purple patch team this year. When they've been on fire, when they've been on form, like they're on now, like winning form, they've been quite dangerous, hard to break down, solid in midfield. And fairly potent up front, and they're playing really well at the moment. So I think it's gonna be a really entertaining game tonight. Of course, Chelsea are gonna dominate the ball. I don't think that's going to intimidate Everton at all. What do you make of the game tonight, Indiana?
Do you know what it is with Chelsea? They actually worry me because they brought three top players in and they haven't performed going forwards. So Havertz had COVID. We know about Timo can't finish anything. Ziyech has been out of form. Think about if just one of these players had clicked, had a season like they did last season. For me, Chelsea, if they went and got a Sancho and got two of these players to click, they could go for the title. I actually think that because they've got enough quality there. Tuchel's, he's not had enough time really to implement a system fully. He's getting to know the players. The players are obviously enjoying playing for him, but you cannot count out Everton and Don Carlo. It wouldn't surprise me if Everton nicked this game. But at the same time, it's such a good game. It's going to be such a good game. I'm looking forward to it. I don't normally care about rival games so much, but I see two teams going at each other tonight, and it'd be about who can finish. Giroud, I would play Giroud tonight if I was Tuchel. That guy is incredible. Incredible striker for his age, the way he can finish.
Well, I think you're going to need a player of that sort of size and stature in the box because of Godfrey, because of Keane, because of Holgate. I mean, looking at the teams that are available, I mean, Chelsea are lucky. They're pretty much their whole squad, barring, I mean, Silva and Abraham are down as doubtful. I don't know if they're going to play. The only kind of real big miss, Yerry Mina's out. That's an absolute fact for Everton. James Rodriguez is a little bit doubtful. But you look at those sort of teams in terms of their starting 11s. Everton are not far behind them. Like really and truly on their when best 11s play, I do put Chelsea in front of them. I do think Chelsea are a better team. But Everton have got a really good 11, 12 players. And as you say, they've got Ancelotti. And Ancelotti's so long in the tooth. If his players deliver on the day, they can beat anybody. They really, really can. And in terms of top four, it's such a close race.
I need a draw. We need United need a draw. Like someone could say Everton can win, but they've got a game in hand on us anyway. You know what I mean? Like after today, they'll still have a game in hand on us. So to keep the gap there, we need that draw. Chelsea will be end up on 48 points if there's a draw, and then Everton will be on 47 points with a game in hand. I can deal with that. Any of these two teams winning, it's just long, bro. That's all it is. It's just going to be a long, hard top four race, which I cannot be bothered for right now. You know what I'm saying? Literally easy as possible.
From Man United point of view, I want everyone below us to draw games when they play each other and lose. Like, of course, we want that. In terms of, if I take my Man United hat off, this last 10 games, 10, 11, 12 games at Everton, it's going to be amazing top four race. It's a shame it isn't two or three teams fighting out for it. But if you have two or three teams fighting out for the title, then you don't actually have a top four race. Those two things are actually impossible to have happen at the same time. But in terms of the top four race, it's there. What makes it so interesting is that Man United and Leicester are leading the race. But Man United and Leicester have got managers who are renowned for bottling big moments. Does that make sense? So you're in a really kind of difficult situation. And it's what missing out on the top four looks like. If Everton and West Ham miss out on top four, nothing changes.
All good.
If Spurs miss out, they just probably won't spend as much. But still, But Chelsea, Man United or Liverpool missing out on the top four, same as if Leicester come fifth, that's still success in my opinion for them. But if Liverpool or Chelsea or United miss out on top four, it's legit. It's pain, and it's going to impact who you sign in the summer. It's another year of fans not quite being satisfied. It's this weird Thursday, Sunday approach, and it's going to be catastrophic. And I think
my question is, I've asked this in the group chat for that United show, and ask it here as well. Is top four actually the worst thing we can get? If you look at the history of the Glazers and not the Glazers, the Pagans, fam. Let me call them by the correct name. Look at the history of the Pagans and that wallet. You've said it already in the stream, Terry. When we're inside the top four, spending goes down. When we're outside the top four, spending goes up. Is top four worth potentially keeping Ole, which half the fan base don't want, and then most likely spending less money in the transfer window, especially with Corona still happening? Or is the pain of the Europa League worth getting rid of Ole, because Ole would lose his job, and potentially spending more money to get back into Champions League?
The answer is this. It doesn't fucking matter if we're in it or out of it. We're fucked with these owners, bruv. It doesn't matter, really. I just look at it as I want to celebrate where we finish in the league. You know, would I rather be the second best or the fifth best team in the league? I'd rather be second best if we're going to come anywhere. I'd rather be top. We're going to throw a few more callers in now to have their say. Prime is with us. Prime, welcome back to the Terrace, mate. Big game for your boys, Chelsea's night. Are you going to win, and why?
Yes, we are going to win.
Why?
We're a better team than Everton. Yeah, we have better players, and we should be. We have better players. We should be able to get over the line. We're in a really good patch of form at the moment. I respect Everton, but I don't. And I know they will score. I think the score will be 2-1. But I just don't. I just think that with the quality that we have, we should be able to get over that line, no matter what struggle they'll throw up against us.
Yeah, Prime actually wants Chelsea to win, so his real team can go above Everton at some point. That's what it is. His actual team is languishing below.
My real team is Chelsea.
His actual team is languishing below Everton right now. So Chelsea win will be good for his team.
Because you win one Manchester derby, you're talking a lot, KJ. That's funny.
No,
you guys were depressed at the start of the week. What happened?
Listen, I always be talking.
What happened?
You guys were depressed last week.
Hang on. Did you just ask what happened? Is we won the Manchester derby, so real fans of Manchester United are happy today, which means all of us. Of course,
but has everything changed then?
No. We still suck. You know what I mean? Our club is still ran like crap, bro. That hasn't changed. Like we just happen to win the derby, bro. But not like you, who actually supports a different team and a manager over the club he supports. That's okay, bro. It's okay.
Okay. No. I'm just curious because a few United fans were telling me that if City drop a few points and stuff or a few games, that you're only 2 or 3 points away from them. Maybe the title race is back on.
No, listen.
Who told you that? You're lying, bro.
What Man United fans said that? Name them.
What?
Name them.
No, say what and try and delay yourself while you're thinking of an answer. Who said that?
I'm only making jokes, right?
I know you're making jokes. I said that.
No, but again, United, you guys are having a good season.
We're having
Prime, and I bet you predicted us winning, beating Man City, didn't you?
I did actually, yes.
Yeah, there is.
Because you know why? You know why? Because I'm not like everyone else. This Man City team does not scare me.
Oh, well, hard. Now, listen, Prime, I hear where you're coming from. Man United are having an okay season. I wouldn't say it's good yet or anything along those lines. If I'm being real, winning yesterday made me happy. And then there was a part of me last night where I was like, those games where we drop points, Everton, West Brom, Sheffield United, if we'd have done what we should have done in those games, then we'd only be a point or so behind them. There'd be a title race on. But that's why I've come to the realization, and this is what should happen in life. When people come to a realization, this is why the Ole out brigade are weird to me. And I sometimes feel like it's fake outrage, because in life, when you come to a realization of something, generally speaking, it stops making you angry. So I had sort of in the week, I was like, see, this is why Ole isn't ever going to be good enough. Because whenever it comes to the crunch, invariably we lose. Or we don't get the result that we need. And I think it's a mentality issue over tactics. So I think we need to look beyond him. Why am I not pushing that agenda? Because I don't have any faith in my club to find the right replacement and actually continue to build from this point. So it becomes a mooted point because we don't have the infrastructure to build what I want. But because I know that, it doesn't make me angry. I've come to accept it now as being what it is. It doesn't make me angry. Being angry in the same way every day that Ole's the manager, I'm sort of like, no one can be that angry at every moment of the day about a situation like that. That's why I look at it and think, are you doing that for attention? Is it an outlet? Is it something else in your life you're angry about? I don't know, you bad relationship with your boss, breaking up with your missus, micro penis, something's making you angry. I don't know what it is, because I'm just at peace with it now. I'm just at peace with my manager isn't going to be good enough, but but I don't trust the club to replace him either quickly enough or adequately. So I might as well just do what KJ's been saying for ages, just vibes. When we lose, I'm upset. When we win, I'm happy. I don't have any major expectations for this club under the Glazers anymore. So I'm in a happy place because of it. Do you know what I mean? I've basically gone to AA and said, hi, my name's Terry Fleurs and I'm an alcoholic. And that was the hardest bit. Now I've said it. Life's cool. That's why I'm happy, bro, because I'm accepting. We're going to do some more calls now. Next up, we've got Satan's favorite devil. What you saying, mate?
Yellow. How you guys doing?
Yellow to you. Yeah, good, bro. What's on your mind?
Yeah, it's just this board is very confusing. You know, I don't really know what that means towards the future, offering Ole Gunnar Solskjaer a 3-year contract. Because ultimately speaking, they did release their earnings a couple of days ago, and they did basically tell us, listen, this summer, don't get hyped up. Calm down. We're not getting the Sanchos and the Varans and the Messi. We're not spending big. But now it's like they're showing that they're committing to the manager. It is. I do want them to commit to the manager, but if Ole goes through another summer where he doesn't get his targets, and we walk into with yet the same squad, a counter-attacking squad, and we move on to that into a third season, that they're gonna sack him. that backing means nothing.
Yeah, do you know what it comes down to though, bruv? I told you they don't have the aspirations of winning league titles. They are happy to be top 4 is the target. They're happy to be a top 4 team. If Ole finishes in the top 4 2 years running, they'll keep him because Ole is at the level they're happy with. That's the point. And Ole is cheaper. Do you know Nagelsmann's going to want a lot more money than Ole gets paid? Like to bring in another Jose. If we did a madness and we got in Pep's here and we convinced Pep to leave City and come to us, Pep would want 3 times the salary that Ole's on. For them, it's like, hang on, he gets us top 4. Top 4 earns Man United more money. Why? Selling sponsorship and advertising space is more lucrative in the Champions League than it is the Europa League or out of Europe. Even down to hospitality. Next time they're selling hospitality tickets at Man United, check the price of Europa League versus Champions League. They make millions of pounds more a year just through hospitality tickets at games with Champions League football than they do getting into the Europa League. Why spend 50, 60, 70 million extra on higher manager salaries, higher player salaries, higher transfer fees for players to go one step further and win it when you're financially better off just being in it, but getting into it on a shoestring budget? And if Ole can get them into it 2 years, 3 years, 4 years on the bounce, the football's okay, the level of squad's okay, the Glazers are happy. They are setting the standards here rather than where we want them to be up there. And there comes a point where either you mobilize and you energize and you demand that changes and they hire the expectations by getting better managers, better players, having a plan, or you accept it. Shouting at the manager who's at this level, who's only ever going to be at this level and is never going to be any better, is wasted energy. Because even if you remove him and bring in a better manager, if the expectations are down there, the ownership are going to drag him down. It's literally wasted energy. And I'm plagiarizing man like, I can't remember his name. He's on the stream. Indiana, when I say that, I really, really am. Satan's favorite devil. Thanks for coming on the show, mate, and having your say. Yazir says, back Ole, we win the league. Don't we finish top 4? Yes, but you're missing my point here. Say we spend another £150 million to try and win the league and we come second. The Glazers have pushed out £150 million. If we spend 30 million and come 4th, the Glazers are wealthier. The Glazers have more money. Their profit as a business is higher. Their dividends are higher. It makes no odds to them. Winning the league, if winning the league, there was a £300 million prize, they'd try and win it because they're the speculate to accumulate. They're business people. But there's almost no mileage for them to win the league. It would cost them too much. It would eat.
It's too much effort.
It's too much effort and too much money. And that's why they don't care. Next, Hakeem is back with us. Hakeem, welcome back to the terrace, mate. What are you saying?
How's it going, man?
Yeah, good, bro. What do you want to say?
Two things I want to make. I think the whole contract thing it's a big deal, but it's not an outrage in the sense of if I were doing decent at my job, right? I think Solskjaer thinks he's doing a decent job, right? And I'm his agent and I have 1 year left. Of course, I'm going to go to my employers and be like, what's the plan? similar to the rumors last week about Bruno Fernandes, where he's been here 2 seasons now, 1.5 season, and his agent supposedly is going to approach United for a new contract. Of course he is. He's doing well. That's when you approach your employer for a raise or whatever, whenever you're doing well. So whenever you're doing well, and also when you're coming to the end. So I don't think it's a mighty big issue. But what I will say is I would like for him to see out the 3 years if possible. But that's kind of not how negotiations work, because if he goes into the last year, the thing is going to be is, oh, cool, every day is going to be about his contract. There's going to be more news and everything, and it might unsettle the team itself. So that's kind of the issue it is, but I'm not outraged about it to be like, you know what, the outrage, as you guys been saying the whole stream, is what's the plan afterwards, or if we do decide to cut him at the end of the season. That's just the issue in general. But for me, it's not really a big,
Akeem, you make a really good point there about if they don't give him a new deal, that becomes a whole talking point the next season, and it can destabilize, it can distract. And, we all moaned about Pogba's agent destabilizing and doing it. The club not renewing Ole's deal would almost have that same implication. So people have got to keep the same energy. So I totally agree with that. I think you make a really good point there. It's just one of those things. The biggest issue here again is people have got to ignore Ole for a minute. We just run. If we were run well, we wouldn't have it. Even if we were run well, but we didn't like Ole, there still wouldn't be panic. The one thing you'd say about City and about Chelsea, about Leicester, everybody can appoint the wrong manager. Every team has done it, but it's about how good you are at fixing that problem, and that's where I think the biggest issue is. Some team news: Mason Mount's been benched today. I see. David is so happy. But there we go. Listen, we're going to be back at full time after Chelsea versus Everton. So make sure you're back here live with the Football Terrace for that. Everyone who's called in, all of our guests today, all of our panelists, a massive thank you to all of you, all the super chatters, all the brand new subscribers. Thank you. Until next time, take care of yourselves. Goodbye. God bless. And we'll see you.